Hello, and welcome back to the studio. I'm Dr. Wiggo, and today we're going to talk about Apple's announcements this week. The new iPhones, the new AirPods, and the new watch. Now, I'm going to do this in the same order that Apple went through it in the keynote. So if you watch the keynote, you really don't need to hear my reinterpretation of what they said. I'm just going to say the same things with fewer words, a lot fewer words. So if you saw the keynote, the next chapter will be the AirPods Pro 3. Then the chapter after that will be the Apple Watch Series 11. Then the chapter after that will be the Apple Watch SE3, and that's a comer. The chapter after that will be the Apple Watch Ultra 3. Then the chapter after that will be the iPhone 17. The chapter after that will be the iPhone Air, and then the chapter after that will be the iPhone Pro. But if you just want to get to what I think, then skip to the chapter after all of those, which will be my take. And depending on how long I talk, and you know I can talk a while, I may do 3 chapters, so I'll do them in the same order. I'll do the AirPods, then the watches, and then the phones. Or it may just be all one thing. I don't know. We'll see when we get to the edit. AirPods Pro 3. They started out like they always do with all these cool videos, and the first thing they showed about the AirPods was the multi-port acoustic architecture. Doesn't that sound exciting? And with the active noise cancellation, which they say is made possible by the ultra-low noise microphones and the new foam-infused silicone ear tips. We'll talk about that maybe at the end. But because of the foam, which will expand slightly in your ears to make a good fit, which will let less sound in, it's got twice the active noise cancellation of the AirPods Pro 2, which, if you've been watching the channel, you know I bought those last year. Yeah, for the hearing function. Turns out I can hear just fine. Who knew? They'll also have live translation powered by Apple Intelligence. They didn't talk about Apple Intelligence a lot, but they mentioned it here. When people are talking to you, the AirPods Pro 3 will dial back their voice so that you can hear Siri, or whichever voice you picked, saying what they said in your language.
Hello, welcome. Today, all the red carnations are 50% off.
And then you can either, if they're wearing AirPods with live translation, you can just talk back to them and they'll hear. But if not, on your phone, it'll print it out in words, and you can show it to them what you're saying. It's kind of cool. Fit issues, they now have 5 sizes of ear tips. And again, they now have the foam infused inside the silicone. So what they call the best fitting AirPods ever. Isn't everything Apple makes the best ever? Well, so are these. These also have IP57 sweat and water resistance. So if you're doing sweaty workouts or running in the rain, you don't have to worry so much about your AirPods shorting out. They will have heart rate sensing with a cool little sensor, little light thing in your ear that will measure your heart rate. So you won't have to wear an Apple Watch to know your heart rate while you're working out. That's kind of cool. The fitness app on the iPhone will have 50 workout types just for the AirPods Pro 3, so you can do all that. Oh, and then there's the Workout Buddy. Yeah, for you workout people. Improved battery life, it's up to 8 hours with active noise cancellation and 10 hours with transparency with the hearing aid enabled. If you need them for hearing aids, you can go for 10 hours before they need to recharge. Now here's the little summary slide. The things on here that I haven't already mentioned are basically that 65% recycled plastic, which is a good thing. They're still only $249, and you can pre-order them now, and they're available next Friday, the 19th of September. Moving along, the Apple Watch. There are 3. They start out this section of the keynote with stories of lives saved with either fall detection or crash detection or heart monitoring and sleep monitoring and lifelines and emergencies. But then they got into the meat of it, which started with the Series 11, the successor to the Series 10. It now has Ion X glass with a ceramic coating that's twice as scratch resistant as the Series 10. So, now I haven't scratched mine, so. The cellular in the Series 11 now supports 5G. The Watch OS 26 adds new watch faces. They have Flow, which is a liquid glass thing for the people who aren't sick of that yet. Well, if you haven't downloaded it yet, maybe you aren't sick of it yet. They have the Exactograph face, which is an interpretation of a regulator clock. I don't even know what a regulator clock is, but they have one. And then they have a bunch of health features. They have things for your heart, things for your hearing, cycle tracking for you ladies, mental health. It also now will check for high blood pressure over 30-day periods and notify you if you have hypertension. And since that's the silent killer, this is a great thing because it just will do this automatically and tell you, hey, you maybe need to get checked for high blood pressure. The watch has sleep tracking and checking for possible sleep apnea, which I think the Series 10 did also. But now it adds a sleep score, which is a made-up number, but it shows you how it was calculated so you can go, oh, I get it. Battery life has been improved, so you can get up to 24 hours on a charge on the Series 11. And the finishes are either 100% recycled aluminum, or if you're willing to pay a little more money, 100% recycled titanium. And they have a bunch of new band colors, and new Nike Sport Band colors, and new Nike Sport Loop colors. It's a big improvement, or not. Now, the Apple Watch SE3 is where it gets interesting, because they're giving this one, the entry-level watch, the S10 chip, which is in my watch right here, which allows for always-on display and gestures so you can control the watch with one hand. They're bringing the features from the big watches down to the entry level. It has the wrist temperature sensing to allow for ovulation estimates and improve the Vitals app. It has the sleep apnea notification and sleep scores that the bigger brothers have. 18-hour battery life and fast charging. In 15 minutes, you can get another 8 hours of battery life. So that's pretty good. The colors, it either comes in Starlight or Midnight, both made with 100% recycled aluminum. The cellular models are now 5G capable. So this is a big improvement over the previous SE2. Moving on to the Ultra 3, it has a wide-angle OLED screen with LTPO3. I don't know what that means. But it's slightly bigger in the same case size, so it's the largest display ever. You know how they go. And it refreshes more frequently in always-on mode, so you can see the ticking seconds on watch faces, including the waypoint face, which is new. It adds satellite connectivity, SOS mode, send messages, share locations with Find My. Has a larger battery, so now it's up to 42 hours of battery life. It's available in black or natural 100% recycled titanium. There are new band colors, and the trail loop now has reflective yarn along the edges, so I guess you'll show up in people's headlights. It also supports fast charging, and Apple says it's the best GPS in a sports watch. I don't know how they measured that. Now, pricing, the SE3 starts at $249. The 11 starts at $399, and the Ultra 3 starts at $799. You can order them right now, and they will be available on the 19th of September. Now to what you probably really care about, the iPhone 17. The new colors are sage, white, black, mist blue, and lavender. And they've made the borders thinner around the screen, so while the phone is the same size, the screen goes to 6.3 inches from 6.1. Oh, and here's the big news. ProMotion variable refresh from 120 Hz down to 1 Hz for the first time in a non-Pro phone. And the brightness outdoors goes from 2,000 nits to 3,000 nits. So it's basically the Super Retina XDR display, which, guess what, is the same display in all the iPhones this year. So yay. It has improved durability with the Ceramic Shield 2, which has 3 times better scratch resistance. That's pretty good. It has the A19 chip built on the 3nm technology, so it's faster and more efficient than the previous chip. It's got an updated display engine in the A19 and an improved neural engine in the A19. 6-core CPU with 2 performance cores and 4 efficiency cores, and a 5-core GPU so that it's 20% faster than the iPhone 16, 80% faster than the iPhone 15, 90% faster than the iPhone 14, and double the speed of the iPhone 13. So you may want to upgrade to this one. They briefly talked about Apple Intelligence, but it was much lower key than last year. They just said, here are some of the things that it could do, and then they just kind of moved along. They tout all-day battery life, up to 30 hours of video playback. That's a lot of playback. It will fast charge in 20 minutes if you have a 40-watt USB-C charger. The cameras. It has a 48-megapixel main camera and a 12-megapixel 2x telephoto camera, which do double duty as a 48-megapixel ultra-wide camera and a 12-megapixel macro camera. The biggest upgrade, which is coming to all of the new iPhones, is the new center stage front camera. It has a unique 24-megapixel square sensor, which is almost twice the size of the previous front camera. So it will allow 4 different compositions, all while holding the phone vertically like a selfie camera. So you can do landscape while you're holding the phone vertically. That's because of that square sensor, because it'll go vertical or it can go across, and you get 18 megapixels either way, or maximum, because there's 2 lesser resolutions. The center stage for photos can use AI to automatically reframe selfies to keep everyone in the frame. As people walk into the frame, as you're taking the frame, if you have another friend, and then add another friend, then add another friend, it can automatically switch, or you can do it manually. The default is manual, but you can turn on the automatic thing if it doesn't bother you. And that's the iPhone 17. Now, all the hype and all the rumors were for the iPhone Air because it's only 5.6 millimeters thick, minus the camera plateau, which is what Apple is now calling the camera bump because it goes all the way across, so it's now a plateau, not a bump. Again, it has the Super Retina XDR display, but 6.5 inches. The ProMotion up to 120 hertz, down to 1 hertz for always on, 3,000 nits, same as the other phones. All phones this year have that same display technology, and all have the Ceramic Shield 2 with 3 times better scratch resistance. But on the iPhone Air, that Ceramic Shield 2 is also on the back glass, which makes it 4 times more crack resistance. Because I don't know if you've ever dropped your iPhones with the glass backs, but it's easy to crack the back. Well, it's going to be 4 times harder now, so they say. Now, the interesting thing about the camera plateau is what they've done is they've taken a lot of components inside the phone and put them into that plateau, which sticks up. So it gets it out of the way so that they can put a bigger battery in the thing. And the frame is titanium to be strong enough not to bend, and I've seen a couple of things where people tried to bend it, and it's hard to bend. It makes it more durable than any previous iPhone. They really push this durability thing, and it's 80% recycled titanium, so it's good for the environment, and it's more durable than any iPhone because it has to be because it's so thin. The colors it comes in are space black, cloud white, light gold, and sky blue. It has the A19 Pro chip, not a Pro phone, but has the Pro chip, with 2 P cores and 4 E cores, and they say it's the fastest CPU in any smartphone, not counting the ones I'm about to talk about. The efficiency cores get a 50% increase in cache, which helps make them more efficient. It has a 5-core GPU with 2nd-generation dynamic caching, plus neural accelerators for 3 times the peak compute of an A18 Pro. For wireless connectivity, it has a new N1 Apple Silicon chip that has Wi-Fi 7, Bluetooth 6, and Threads for home automation built into it. And the C1 modem that they introduced last year has been upgraded to the C1X, which is twice as fast and is in the iPad Air. So the C1X, combined with the N1, uses 30% less energy than the iPhone 16 Pro. So it's the most power-efficient iPhone, but of course it has the smallest battery, so that's kind of important. It has a 48-megapixel fusion camera system, but it's a single lens and a single sensor. So the main camera is the 48-megapixel 26mm f1.6, and then there's a telephoto, which is 52mm f1.6 going through the same lens. It has the same center stage front camera as the iPhone 17 and the ones I'm about to talk about. Dual capture video. This is cool. Lets you capture both the front and rear cameras at once. So if you're shooting video, you can have yourself in the corner. Well, look on the screen. And you can format and then zoom and do all sorts. It's very cool. It also has the camera control button, Dolby Vision 4K 60, supports audio mix, action mode. Now, they go on for a long time about eSIM because they're selling this to the rest of the world. Here in the US, we've always just gotten them with eSIMs. But in the rest of the world, they have SIM trays. But they had to take the SIM tray out to make room for the bigger battery. So, battery life. Again, by squeezing the components into the camera plateau, removing the SIM tray, they got the biggest battery they could, but they still have to resort to adaptive power mode to squeeze more time. So their all-day battery life is up to 27 hours of video playback, which if you have a phone, you know video playback does not stress the phone that much. So they created the iPhone Air MagSafe battery to take it up to 40 hours of playback. Of course, now you've got this big battery thing on the back of your phone, so it's not thin anymore. But I guess you could take it off and put it on depending on, you know. They also sell a translucent case, and the back of it is only 1 millimeter thin, and it comes in frost and shadow, and also a polycarbonate bumper that's available in all 4 of the same colors. Remember the bumpers back after AntennaGate? Well, they're back. That's the iPhone Air. Now moving on to the iPhone Pro. It's this incredibly new forged aluminum unibody design, which of course is stiffer, but it also makes it more thermally efficient and rigid. It has the biggest battery in any iPhone. The camera plateau on the iPhone Pro integrates the antenna for the phone into it. It has the A19 Pro chip with this new vapor chamber thermal system to dissipate heat, which is effective because it then goes into the aluminum frame. Like the Air, it has a ceramic shield on both front and back. The colors it comes in are silver, cosmic orange, and deep blue. Sorry, Marquez, no black. Now, this A19 Pro chip is not the same as the one that I just talked about in the iPhone Air because this one has 6 GPU cores. So while the iPhone Air is getting the A19 Pro chip, it's not getting a fully realized so that the Pro will still have a better processor chip in it. The improved thermals from the vapor chamber and the aluminum body allow up to 40% better performance than the iPhone 16 Pro. That's pretty impressive. It has the best battery life ever in an iPhone. And for eSIM models, where the eSIM came out, they made the battery a little bigger so that the battery has even more life, which gives you up to 39 hours of video playback. Now, the Pro camera system, they have the same center stage front camera as the other iPhone, but all 3 cameras on the Pro are now 48 megapixel. There's an ultra-wide 48 megapixel, telephoto 48 megapixel, and the main 48 megapixel. The telephoto has that same tetraprism design that we saw previously, but it can do 48 megapixels at 100 millimeter focal length and 12 megapixels at a 200 millimeter focal length. Partially, this is due to the sensor being 56% larger than the iPhone 16 Pro. So Apple says it's the equivalent of having 16 Pro lenses, and they show all the different focal lengths all across the screen. It's pretty impressive looking. Now for video, the 17 Pro supports Dolby Vision HDR up to 4K 120. The other phones were 4K 60. It has ProRes Log and ACES, but it now adds ProRes RAW and Genlock, which is for using multiple cameras. They explain it, and I'm not going to go into it here. All the phones now start at 256 gigabytes of storage, which is very cool. The iPhone 17 starts at $799, the iPhone Air starts at $999, and the iPhone 17 Pro at $1099, and the iPhone 17 Pro Max at $1199. And for only $1999, you can get an iPhone 17 Pro Max with 2 terabytes of internal storage. So pre-order now. They're available on the 19th. Those are the new iPhones. Now let's talk about what I think. And I'll do it in the same order. So should you buy the AirPods Pro 3? Well, since live translation is also coming to the AirPods 4 and the AirPods Pro 2, if that's what you want, you don't have to upgrade if you have those. And the AirPods Pro 2 also support the hearing aid function, so again, you don't need to upgrade if that's what you're looking for. But if active noise cancellation is your jam, or older AirPods don't really fit that well, or battery life is the most important thing to you, or being able to work out without a watch and still monitor your heart rate, or sweat resistance, then absolutely you should upgrade. I'm getting them. Partially for the fit thing, also for the longer battery life, and also, and I'm sad to report this, my doctor is making me join a gym, so I'm going to have to start working out, so I may not want to wear the watch. What about the watch? Which one should you buy? Well, the best deal here is clearly the SE3. Major upgrades across the board and still $250. I would say, and if you got kids, it's the perfect thing. If you don't want to give your kids a phone, you can give them a watch. And you can still track them with Find My and all the other things. So for $250, I think this is the perfect thing for kids. Now, the Series 11 is not a huge improvement over the Series 10, but if your watch is a Series 9 or earlier, it might be time to move on up. What about the Ultra 3? If you've got the money, sure. I'm getting one. Because I went from the Ultra 1 to the Series 10, and I really missed that battery life and the solidity. I mean, it was like I could bang into things and I wasn't going to break it. And now it's even stronger. So I'm getting an Ultra 3, but Series 11, maybe upgrade, maybe not. But SE, if you have an SE, absolutely upgrade, because the SE3 is way better than what came before. In fact, if you have an older, like Series 5, 6, 7, SE3 might be enough of an upgrade for you, so you can get an upgrade for $250. Great deal. But what about the iPhone? Well, the best deal is clearly the iPhone 17. It's the same price as last year, but with 256 gigabytes of storage and the same display as the Air and the Pro. You have the Pro Motion display on a non-Pro phone. Yay, finally. Yeah, all 3 iPhones have the same displays. So unless you want the thinness or the Pro-ness, you can stop right here and get an iPhone 17. Even if you have a 16, you might think about upgrading because, again, that Pro Motion display, it's only $800. I think it's a pretty good deal. Now, the Air is possibly the worst deal of all time, but it's so cool looking. Yeah, that's what you're getting. You're getting an incredibly thin, gorgeous phone, but the camera is compromised. It doesn't have the camera capabilities. Yeah, they say that it's 4 cameras in one, but it's all with the same sensor and the same lens, so it's not really 4 cameras in one. Just like the Pro isn't 8 cameras in one, but they at least have 3 lenses and 3 sensors. Oh, important note. The iPhone 17 and the iPhone Air, the USB port on the bottom is USB 2 speeds, 480 megabits per second. Whereas on the Pros, it's USB 3 speeds, which is like gigabits per second. So if you transfer a lot of files on and off your phone via the cable, you want the Pros. Now, that's one problem with the Air. Another problem, well, maybe not a problem, but another issue with the iPhone Air is that it only has one speaker, the ear speaker. The little holes at the bottom are microphones. They are not speakers, so you can't get stereo out of it. You're just going to get the ear speaker as your only output of sound. So if you're used to rocking tunes on your iPhone when you don't have your AirPods or you don't have a Bluetooth speaker, well, you're not going to want the iPhone Air. Although it is really thin. Speaking of thinness, the iPhone 17 Pros are thicker than last year and heavier than last year. Well, big batteries. It won't feel quite the same. That's a lot. It's not a lot heavier, but it won't feel quite the same in your hand. And if you really want the lightness in your hand, then you got to get the Air. But again, the Air has those compromises with battery life and the USB and the microphones and the speakers. You do you. I love the look of the iPhone Air. I think it's cool. I think it's sexy. I would love to have one. Except what do I do for my only source of income these days? Well, other than Social Security and pension. I make videos. And the iPhone Air is not for making videos. The iPhone 17 Pro is for making videos. In fact, they added more Pro features. The Gen Lock. I will never use Gen Lock. So it's really, what do you want? And how much do you want to spend? That's the other thing Apple did. They slotted in the Air above the 17 and $100 less than the iPhone 17 Pro, which used to be $999, remember, last year. But it now has 256 gig of storage, so that kind of justifies that extra $100, and it gives them that $1,000 price point to slot in the Air. And then, of course, the 17 Pro Max gets expensive, especially if you want 2 terabytes when it's $2,000. You know what I'm getting. I'm getting an iPhone 17 Pro Max in cosmic orange. I went to the University of Texas, and I live here in Tennessee, and the Tennessee Volunteers color is also orange, although an ugly bright orange, not a cool burnt orange. Where was I? Oh, I was signing off, because that's the whole Megillah. That's everything Apple announced. I've told you what I'm buying. I'm buying the AirPod Pro 3. I'm buying the Ultra 3. And I'm buying the 17 Pro Max in cosmic orange. So next week, I'll be unboxing the phone. And I'll probably wait for the week after that to unbox the Watch and the AirPod Pros. So if you want to see me unbox and talk about and play with a cosmic orange iPhone 17 Pro Max, well, subscribe. There's a button. Just click it and come back. So that's it for today. Thanks for stopping by. See you next time. Bye-bye. No, I have to just go wait for all this stuff to arrive from Apple. Thanks for staying to the end. Bye-bye.